Hey guys, this is Candle, and welcome to another gaming pickups video. It's been a while since we've done this, been a while since we did any videos actually, but let's go ahead and just get started, shall we? So first up, we have a recent release. This is, if I can angle it correctly, there we go. Mass Effect Andromeda, latest Mass Effect game. I'm actually really enjoying this right now. It's gotten some flack about the facial animations, and there's a little bit of Uncanny Valley there, but actually it's really not all too much, except for a few specific like camera angles mostly. So I don't really have a gripe with that in terms of that respect. However, my big gripe came from the character customization, the character generation, creator, whatever. It was a little bit lacking in my eyes. For one thing, when you go to customize your characters, you can choose between male or female like you could in the past games. That's the one you play as. However, the other gender is your twin, and they do make an appearance in the story, but you can't get to play as them during the rest of the game. But you can customize both, which is really cool, and it uses kind of your options for both of them to figure out what your dad looks like, because he figures into the opening of the story as well. But the problem with the character creator is that it's very limiting. For one thing, you have to choose between either the default faces or a custom face, and you cannot customize the default faces, which I think really, really sucks and is a missed opportunity, because I like the way the default faces look for the most part. I just wanted to change a few things like the hairstyles and colors and eye colors and stuff like that. So I ended up going with a custom character, and unfortunately, it's not like in the past where you have a whole slew of options. You can make whatever the hell kind of face you want. You have to choose between one of 9 different preset faces, and then you can change certain specific things about that, like size, the depth of the nose, and stuff like that. So you really don't get this huge range of options you had in the past. But still, I'm really, really enjoying this game. It takes place way off in the Andromeda Galaxy, like the name of the game implies. I mean, hello, it is Mass Effect Andromeda. It also takes place about 600 years after the events of the Mass Effect trilogy, but it does not take into account the events of Mass Effect 3. The reason, of course, being that the way to travel to the Andromeda Galaxy for everybody in this game was through the use of cryostasis. Basically, everybody was put to sleep for the long 600-year journey to get to the Andromeda Galaxy, and they set off between the events of Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. So all of Mass Effect 3 really doesn't matter in the course of this event. I don't even know if it's referenced at all, because again, we're 600 years into the future, but in a different galaxy. There's really no way to contact the Milky Way. And I'm still relatively early in the game. I'm only about 11 hours or so in. All I've really done so far is the introductory areas and the first planet, and I've just gotten back to the Nexus, which is the main hub of the game. So yeah, it's a lot of fun game. I'm really looking forward to playing the rest of it. My only real big gripe, other than the character generator, is the fact that this is the physical version of the game for PC, and there's one problem with it, right here. Yeah, it's download only. There's no disc in here at all. There's not even a place for a disc in here, which really, really sucks, because that kind of defeats most of the purpose of having a physical copy for PC, is having a disc so you have a hard copy backup of the game. And unfortunately, all I've got here is a box. It'll look nice on the shelf, which I like. That's part of why I buy physical games whenever I can, but there's no other use for it, really. I could have just as easily bought it off of Origin or whatever. But still, I did save a little bit of money doing it this way, because the Amazon Prime discount applies to new physical games, not digital. So it works for this, does not work for the download code. And actually, I got this through Best Buy, where I have the Gamers Club card, which allows for 20% off new games as well, which allowed me to save money on the next game, which I didn't get immediately when it came out. But it is Horizon Zero Dawn on PS4. Yeah, basically you are hunting dinosaur robots. I haven't gotten very far in this game either, or maybe only a couple hours in. But just like Mass Effect Andromeda, it is an open world RPG. I don't know what it is about me with those, but I've been playing a lot recently. I just finished Witcher 3. Now I'm playing 2 of these at once, which I really shouldn't. I don't like playing too many games of the same type at once, especially when they're such big games like open world RPGs tend to be. But still, it's a lot of fun. It's set, unlike Andromeda, which is set in a different galaxy, Horizon Zero Dawn is set in our galaxy, on our planet, in the far distant future. I can't wait to get further into it and all the lore and everything. I'm a little weird on character names with this game because the main character that you play, this chick right here, her name is Aloy, and it's spelled A-L-O-Y. And it's obviously meant to be a play on Alloy, considering a whole huge stink about this game is that you're hunting machines, metal machines, and your actual currency, your main currency in the game are metal shards. And also she's raised by a guy called Rost, R-O-S-T. Obviously a play on the word rust. And you'll find that a lot with a number of the character names in here, but not all of them. But still, I haven't gotten that far into it. I've just basically finished the tutorial and have been exploring the starting area, and that's about it. I have not gotten to the proving yet. It's basically this thing where if she succeeds, if she wins it, she'll no longer be an outcast like she was born, but she'll be accepted as part of the community. So, really interested in playing the rest of this. That's not the only PS4 game I got, though. I also got Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. Personally, I would not recommend getting this unless you are a Kingdom Hearts diehard fan or never played Dream Drop Distance. Really, that's kind of the big draw for this, is playing Dream Drop Distance, which was the 3DS game in HD, but also it includes Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, A Fragmentary Passage. It's basically like a 3-4 hour demo of Kingdom Hearts 3. It takes place following the extra scene in Birth by Sleep. You play as Aqua, and basically it's really just a demo of the Kingdom Hearts 3 engine, and it's a lot of fun, but like I said, it's only 3-4 hours. Definitely not worth the cover price for this thing. But still, if you've never played Dream Drop Distance, or if you're a diehard fan like I am, definitely worth picking up. It also includes Kingdom Hearts Key Back Cover, which is basically an hour-long cinematic that explains some of the story to Unchained Key, which was the mobile game that I have not actually played. I don't even know if it's free to play or not. But yeah, this is the limited edition, which comes with this little pin right in the back here. But the actual cover of the game looks a little bit different. It's not just black like that. You can see it there we go. That's the actual proper cover. Now, the big reason why I haven't done one of these in a while has to do with the fact that I have not bought that many games in the last few months. I tend to like only doing these once I have at least 5 games. I prefer more, but at least 5 games to talk about and show off. And I don't have that, partially because I'm trying to work on cutting down my backlog, which is pretty extensive. I mean, it's like 289 titles right now. Now, that does include individual DLC packs and so on. And I know that seems really big, but it was over 300 when I started the year out. And I've been slowly whittling it away. I'm hoping to be at like 225, 200 to 225 by the end of the year, which means I'm probably not going to be buying too many games this year, because the more games you buy, the more games are on the backlog. But the other big reason why I didn't buy that many games over the last couple months has to do with a little release of a new console back at the beginning of the month. Yeah, the Nintendo Switch came out, and I did in fact happen to pick one up. Yes, believe it or not, I did not get a pre-order for this. I tried and tried and tried. I kept checking Amazon for days and could not secure a pre-order for this at all. And yet, I have one now. So how's that possible? Well, despite the fact that these are relatively hard to find out in the wild right now, it wasn't so on day one. Believe it or not, I went to Best Buy right as they opened their doors. There were 6 people waiting in line to pick one up. I don't know how many of them had pre-orders or not, but that Best Buy, my local Best Buy, had at least 30 systems available just for people walking in. So I was able to pick it up. This is just the gray one, and actually the system itself I have right here. There we go. And it's really nice. It's really neat. It's not as powerful as I would like it to be, but it's really cool to be able to play Zelda in HD on the go. And yes, that is in fact the next game I want to talk about. It is a wonderful game. Zelda goes open world. And I know Zelda's kind of been open world for a long time, but it's a modern open world, and it is huge. This Hyrule is the biggest it's ever been. I would say it is probably one of the biggest open world games I've ever played in terms of map size. Granted, I've never played Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, which is in fact the largest, but still it is pretty big, and it's not that densely populated, believe it or not, in terms of different things to see and stuff. Really, it's pretty wide and far. I was getting a lot of Shadow of the Colossus vibes playing it because it's not very clustered together. All the shrines and everything in it aren't very clustered together. I do have a few gripes with the game, and one of them is, in fact, the weapon durability is extremely low. And I know you've probably heard that from a lot of people, but almost all of your weapons are really throwaway weapons. I was so glad when I finally got the Master Sword, because that one does not break. Now, if you use it willy-nilly, it will lose its luster and you won't be able to use it for a few minutes, but it will be back and you can still use it better, and it is amazing to be able to use it. Of course, the key feature about the Switch is not just playing on the go, which this is the handheld mode right here, but it's also being able to detach the Joy-Cons and play them on their own. They do really feel good in my hands. They feel nice and everything, but you can also slot them in to the little Joy-Con grip here, and that's your controller. And again, it feels really nice. It looks awkward, but it feels really nice to play. Nice and heavy and everything, despite the fact that this is the regular Joy-Con grip that comes with the Switch and not the charging one that is sold separately, which sucks. But still, it feels really nice to hold and play, be able to go play Zelda on the go. Full HD. I mean, it's 720p on the screen here, but when you put it in the dock, it outputs to up to 1080p, which is nice. Performance for Zelda takes a little bit of a dive when it does that, which makes sense in the technical aspect that a lower resolution means fewer pixels to push, which means you can get better performance out of it without degrading visuals or anything. As a consumer, I would say that they really should have pushed for parity between playing in handheld mode and playing on the TV. So they really should have optimized better for playing at 1080p on the TV rather than 720p on the screen, which really, this should be a 1080p screen. It should be. There's no reason it could not be a 1080p screen. This is the exact same size screen as they have on the Wii U gamepad, and that is a 1080p screen. I have no idea why they went for 720 here other than to maybe cut costs. They did say they wanted to keep it at the $300 price point, which is why there's no packing game, and the Joy-Con grip here is just the basic one, no charging capabilities whatsoever. Still, it's a lot of fun, and it's really nice to play. Unfortunately, there's not too much reason to get a Switch right now unless you're a diehard Zelda fan and you don't have a Wii U. Because Breath of the Wild, yeah, this game right here, also came out on the Wii U. You can play it on that, plays just the same as on the Switch. The only problem is you can't play it on the go. But there's not really anything else on the Switch that I find at least worthwhile right now. And this will change in a few months. The Splatoon 2 Global Testfire demo event thing, I think, just started. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is coming out in the next month or two. Way off in the future, we have Mario Odyssey coming out in the fall. So that'll be good then. Now, the last game I have to talk about, I could not get a physical copy. There was not physical copies released on PC, unfortunately. So I could switch to Steam like I did the last video, or I could just talk about it here, which I think I will. I'll just put a little graphic like right where my hand is right now to talk about this game, and it is Resident Evil 7. Now, I have kind of a love-hate relationship with the Resident Evil franchise. I have loved the movies for the longest time, pretty much since they first started coming out, but hated the games. And usually, for most people, it's either one or the other. You love the movies, you hate the games, or you love the games and hate the movies. And for me, it was love the movies, hate the games. The reason, of course, for that is the control style for the first three games, 1 through 3, plus Code Veronica, is too tanky. It's unplayable for me, with the fact that character movement is entirely character relative. Press up to move forward, press down to move back, left to turn, and right to turn. That's entirely fine, except for the fact you're dealing with fixed camera positions. It's not over the shoulder like in the later games, but rather every single camera is a fixed screen. So you end up in this weird situation sometimes where you're pressing up, but your character's moving down to the bottom of the screen, and I can't stand that. So I never got into the original games. I picked up the Resident Evil HD Remaster back around Christmas time, and I can actually play that. I haven't gotten too far into it yet, but I can actually play that because they give the option to make character movement camera relative rather than character relative, which means moving up moves you to the top of the screen, pressing down moves you to the bottom of the screen, and so on. And my big problem with 4 through 6, which is not in movement itself, but it's in aiming. The fact that you cannot move while you aim, which means you can't use it to fine-tune, plus as soon as you go into the aiming mode, which is really the only way to play these kinds of games, you can't really fire off the hip too well and be able to succeed when really you need headshots on these zombies to down them. You can't move while you're aiming, which really sucks. So Resident Evil 1 through 6, I just haven't really ever done too much on them. I could never get in the games. But Resident Evil 7 doesn't have those problems. It's entirely in a first-person perspective. You can move while you aim, and it is a gorgeous game. It is amazing. It is so fun to play. Just exploring this mansion with this huge sense of dread because you never know what's around the next corner. All the puzzles and everything. It's so amazing. I have not played any of the DLC yet. I've watched some other people play it, but I haven't played it myself. So I don't know really how good the DLC is yet. I'm still waiting for the big story expansion that's supposed to come sometime this spring for free, where you're playing as Chris Redfield. Up until then, it's really amazing. My only problem with Resident Evil 7 is, leading up to this game's release, I was hearing so much about being able to play it in VR, and having an Oculus Rift, I was really excited to be able to play a full AAA game in VR, and a horror title, no less. There's just one problem. Yeah, it's not VR on PC. It really sucks. It's a huge missed opportunity, but for some reason, Capcom locked themselves into a year-long exclusivity deal with Sony, where the VR mode, the entire game is playable in VR, only on PlayStation. You can only play the VR mode on PlayStation right now, and that sucks. And there's no guarantee that after that year is up, that's going to come to VR modes on PC, which really sucks because I really want to play this game in VR. I am desperate for more VR games, especially more AAA high-quality VR games, because a lot of the times the games you see are not very high quality. They're usually pretty short. They're not all that there. And you can't really explore around, mostly because they don't want to make people sick. Even people who are not typically susceptible to motion sickness or simulation sickness, sometimes they will even start feeling queasy when moving around using a controller on VR, which is why a lot of VR experiences have you sitting or standing in one position, and if there is movement, it's via teleportation from area to area. But anyways, that is all of the games I have to show off right now. So I'll see you guys, hopefully sometime within the next 3 months. Like, hopefully it won't be June by the next time we're doing this. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Please remember to comment, rate, and subscribe.